of the Northeast Kingdom.
Coming up tonight on News 7. Making the rounds. With the New Hampshire primary fast approaching, candidates are out and about in hopes of swaying potential voters. And changes ahead of Vermont's logging industry. Those who work in the woods say new guidelines will cut down profits.
All that and more. News 7 starts right now.
Live from the Vermont Center for Community Journalism, this is News 7 at 5:30.
Two big names in the race for the White House are expected to call it quits. Meanwhile, those low in the polls are trying to connect with Granite State voters. Good evening, I'm Jessie Slater.
And now Victor Mwangi, more on the candidates who are exiting the race in a moment. With less than a week to go before the New Hampshire primary, Chris Christie made a stop at a local pub to stump for votes this morning. News 7's Tyler Simpson reports.
Rainy weather didn't stop New Hampshire voters from coming out to see Chris Christie this morning. The New Jersey governor only got 1.8% of votes in Monday's Iowa caucus. Despite the poor performance, Christie is still confident that he can win in New Hampshire.
Man, I've been watching the New Hampshire primary for a long time, and I don't think that's the way New Hampshire voters think. In fact, sometimes I think you look at Iowa and go, heck, we'll just go the opposite. So it's time for you all to be engaged to save the New Hampshire primary.
There were questions on issues ranging from the national debt to the regulation of Wall Street and national security.
The first and most important job of the President of the United States, remember, is to protect the homeland, the safety and security of the American people. And I'm the only one in this race who's fought terrorism.
Christie took many questions, including one from a 10-year-old boy.
He's torn between you and Donald Trump. And Trump, he sees a man that's self-funded and a man that won't let special interest groups or lobby groups in his back pocket. And when he looks at you, he sees a man that loves his country and has a big heart. You remind him a lot of Ronald Reagan. My dad's question is, how can you reassure my dad, if he gives you his vote, that you won't let lobby groups or special interest groups in your back pocket?
Thank you for listening.
Reporting for the Vermont Center for Community Journalism, I'm Tyler Simpson in Lebanon, New Hampshire.
Christie wasn't the only candidate in Lebanon area in the last 24 hours. News 7's Alex Paddock was at Dartmouth College last night to catch up with another Republican hopeful.
It started with the Pledge of Allegiance.
One nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and justice for all.
And an introduction by New Hampshire's Senate President. Hundreds gathered at the Hanover Inn at Dartmouth College last night to see Republican hopeful Jeb Bush.
So I'm thinking, I'm coming to New Hampshire, the place where they make presidents, the place where they challenge candidates, where they actually care if someone has leadership skills, where they challenge people, where they ask the right questions.
He's the first candidate I've been able to see. He was also the first I was hoping to see months ago. Wasn't able to come out. I'm glad he returned.
The room was filled to capacity with voters of all ages, backgrounds, young and old alike.
My husband and I own a small business, and my husband's a vet, and I like the fact that Jeb recognizes that more than half the veterans never finish their secondary schooling, and most of them don't use the GI Bill either.
Bush was quick to speak about his poor performance in Iowa and took a moment to talk about his competition across the aisle.
I mean, I'm not going to win Bernie Sanders over. And by the way, Bernie's not going to win me over either. I mean, that's just the way life is. We have a diverse country with diverse views. I respect that, and others better get over it too.
Jeb is optimistic that he can reset his campaign in the next week leading up to the New Hampshire primary.
His name speaks a lot for itself, and he has a reputation, whether good or bad, attached to that name.
How Bush performs and uses his last name will play into his success or failure in next week's primary. Reporting for the Vermont Center for Community Journalism, I'm Alex Paddock in Hanover, New Hampshire.
Just down the road and a bit down in the polls, John Kasich met with supporters in Plymouth. Michael Raimondi attended the event and caught up with the Ohio governor.
After a poor showing in Iowa, Republican presidential candidate John Kasich has turned his attention to New Hampshire for Tuesday's presidential primary.
Yeah, I mean, we're taking a real beating because they've spent so much money against us. But we're good. We feel that our people will hang in there, and we think we'll come out of here good. You know, in a really strong position because of our ground game, the town halls, the television, the positive message. We feel very good about it. So.
On Tuesday night, the Ohio governor hosted a town hall meeting at the Common Man Inn in Plymouth, where he discussed his views of several issues, including the economy, the Veterans Association, and immigration.
And for the 11.5 million that came here illegally, if they haven't committed a crime since they've been here, they're going to have to pay a fine, back taxes, they're going to have to do things, and they can have a path to legalization, never to citizenship. We're not going to deport 11.5 million. You know, drive down the street with the truck yelling at people to come out of their house, and their kids are there on the doorstep, and we're hauling. I mean, come on.
Over 100 people stopped in after the Kasich team expected only 40 to show, which could be a good sign for his campaign in the Granite State.
I'm not interested in politics. I'm not interested in partisan behavior. I'm not interested in being a big shot. I'm only doing this for one reason, because I think that I know how to put the teams together with the vision to get the country fixed.
And after an hour and a half, the governor left the audience with one simple message.
Serious problems. Not hard to fix.
Reporting for the Vermont Center for Community Journalism, I'm Michael Raimondi in Plymouth, New Hampshire.
While some candidates are hot on the campaign trail, others are bowing out. Rand Paul has announced that he is suspending his campaign after a disappointing performance in the Iowa caucus. Paul was running a libertarian-minded campaign with a strong emphasis on constitutional rights, something he says he'll continue to advocate even after ending his bid. He released the following statement earlier today.
It has been a privilege to give voice to the liberty movement in this race, and I believe we have broadened the debate by being part of it. Although today I will suspend my campaign for the presidency, I will continue to fight on for liberty.
Republican presidential candidate Rick Santorum is expected to end his bid for presidency. Santorum faced a very different situation in Iowa this year than he did when he won the caucus in 2012. He is the third Republican candidate to drop out of the race for presidency since Monday's results were announced. Those close to Santorum says he will officially suspend his campaign tonight.
Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump will soon receive a bill from the city of Burlington. The city sent invoices to Trump with charges totaling $8,500. Billings were filed from the Burlington Police and Fire Department for providing security at the event. Trump staff handed out 20,000 free tickets for a public event on January 7th.
The state of Vermont is looking into ways to allow sick employees more paid time off. The bill being considered today would allow 1 hour of paid off time for every 52 hours worked. In order to be eligible, workers must be at least 18 years old, work a minimum of 18 hours, and have been employed for more than 20 weeks. Governor Shumlin thinks this is a big step for the state.
A family fight in Burke resulted in one man's arrest on suspicion of child endangerment. Nicholas Barber pled not guilty to the charges stemming from the incident last night. When police responded to the fight, they had reason to investigate a child endangerment claim. Police discovered that the child had ran out of diazepam, a medicine used for treating seizures.
The diazepam to control the seizures.
How often?
So if she doesn't have any and there happens to be a seizure, that would endanger the child.
Barber declined to comment when asked about the situation. And now Tara Hersey joins us with our first look at our focus. Tara, it's really been raining. Am I going to need my rain boots tomorrow?
Well, Victor, I think you're safe to put those rain boots away for tonight. Most of the rain has ended today, but you could see a couple isolated showers throughout the evening. Here in Lyndonville, we did pick up nearly a half an inch of rain throughout the day today, and right now temperatures are around 39 degrees. Taking a look at that satellite radar, kind of confirming exactly what I said. Most of the rain has pushed off towards our east and leaving behind a few isolated showers throughout the state of Vermont. For your weather headlines, yesterday, Puxatawney Phil said that there's going to be an early spring. But when I take a look at that extended forecast, it feels like winter's going to come back. But does that mean it's going to be really snowy or frigidly cold? And how's your weekend shaping up to be? I'll let you know about that winter comeback and how your weekend's shaping up to be later on in the show. Jesse, back to you.
Thank you, Tara. I'm looking forward to that early spring. Coming up, good news for those trying to start a business in Vermont. The governor's announcement just ahead.
And speaking of businesses, the hiring sign is up for one retail giant. We'll tell you who after the break.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
So good to see you guys. So, what's up? Oh, we finally bought a place. Holy cow.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
Jeez, at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save.
Yeah, I have no idea where it goes.
Well, you're spending a lot on... Is it good?
Oh, God.
Oh, how is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
Who doesn't want a shiny new electronic device? Sure, back home there's a garage or a basement full of old electronics that we don't talk about. But old electronics aren't garbage, and they're not useless. They're full of parts and materials that can be recycled into new electronics or donated to some wonderful causes. That flip phone and old computer can still live on. Recycling electronics is the green thing to do. It's the right thing to do, and it's so easy. Log on to greenergadgets.org and enter your zip code to find the recycling center nearest you.
Select Board has ordered the removal of a resident's dog after repeatedly attacking Burke Mountain Academy students. According to BMA officials, the 5-year-old boxer has spent over 3 years harassing and attacking faculty and students at the school. The owners, Susan and Tom Malik, claim the dog isn't a threat, but the town stands by their decision. The Lyndonville Electric Department would like to spend $400,000 in the repairs of the Vale Hydro Station. The request was approved by the State Public Service Board, and if approved by the village, residents can expect the Electric Department's revenues to increase. The meeting and day-long vote will take place on February 18th.
Starting a business in Vermont will soon get a little bit easier. Governor Peter Shumlin and Secretary of State Jim Condos have launched a new portal that will simplify the registration process for new business owners. Businesses can use the portal to interact with the Department of Tax and the Department of Labor in one location. 2,000 registrations have been processed since the launch, and the Secretary of State's office hopes to add more agencies to the portal going forward. The deadline for the Outstanding Business Award is fast approaching. The award is given to Vermont businesses with outstanding accomplishments in 2015 and complements Vermont's uniqueness. To nominate a worthy local business, go to events.vermontbiz.com by March 4th.
Hardware chain store Home Depot says it plans to hire up to 80,000 workers. Spring is coming, and this is the busiest time of the year for Home Depot. The chain has 2,000 stores in the U.S., including one in Littleton. Each of the stores will be hiring 40 to 45 workers. You can apply for jobs online at homedepot.com/careers.
Democrat Matt Dunn left his job on Monday to focus on his 2016 campaign for Vermont governor. Dunn worked for Google for 8 years as the head of community affairs based out of White River Junction, Vermont. He is known for working alongside local and state governments on helping build technology skills in rural areas. His competition includes former legislator Sue Minter, Lieutenant Governor Phil Scott, and businessman Bruce Lisman.
A possible rule change will impact how loggers in the Green Mountain State do their job. The Department of Forest, Parks, and Recreation hopes the update will improve water quality, but those in the field say not so fast. News 7's Tyler Cowderat has the latest.
For many, Vermont's logging industry is a way of life. But a proposal to update industry standards for the first time in 30 years could change the landscape.
For the most part, loggers are doing a great job in protecting water quality, but we still have some issues related to stream crossings and managing surface runoff from truck roads and skid trails.
We asked locals involved in logging operations if changes to improve water quality will impact their work. Craig Owen is a log buyer in East Burke.
Here at this location, no. The ones that are going to be impacted are the guys actually in the woods harvesting the trees.
The guys in the woods aren't fully on board. Claims that the logging industry is responsible for excess phosphorus in state waterways is raising some concerns.
I have seen no articles referenced or any information that scientifically shows where this phosphorus is coming from in the woods. And yet we have been condemned to suffer a 15% of the phosphorus load in that lake. And the question I think a lot of people have is, where's the beef? Where's the science behind where that number came from?
Despite the criticism, officials maintain that clean water near logging job sites should be a priority.
Impacts that you cause upstream will, create more impacts downstream. So it affects not just the person whose land is being harvested, but other neighbors as well downstream.
Reporting for the Vermont Center for Community Journalism, I'm Tyler Catterett in the Northeast Kingdom.
You can read the full rules changes online at fpr.vermont.gov. Public comments will be accepted through February 16th. And there's more to come on News 7 after the break. Sometimes sports means a little more than the final score. We'll introduce you to a team that plays with an encouraging message.
Plus, students at one local high school recently got the travel opportunity of a lifetime. Their trip details next.
And after a day of rain in early February, does winter ever come back? I'll let you know after the break.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late...
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice. She's new. Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened? Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi. You mean you were driving? Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Good evening, Northern Vermont and New Hampshire. What a dreary day we had. Started out with a lot of rain. Saw some freezing rain early this morning, and then it quickly switched over to mostly rain. Even by lunchtime, still seeing lots of rain. Definitely not something you're expecting. It's February 3rd, and I see a day full of rain. You're definitely expecting snow. Maybe Puxatawney Phil had something right yesterday when he said we're going to have an early spring. Current conditions here in Linneville, still seeing a lot of clouds, upper 30s to low 40s, to 39 in Linneville, 41 in St. Johnsbury, a little warmer over in the Burlington area. See temperatures closer to 50. So we see some storm totals. Bradford, nearly over an inch of rain today. As you head towards southern parts of the state, they did see a little more rain than here in the Northeast Kingdom. Greensboro and Linneville, just around a half an inch of rain. So your almanac for St. Johnsbury today. Wow, it was a warm one. 41 degrees was our high. Typical for this time of year, 28. So very warm out there, and that's why we saw all that rain today. Even our low, 25, compared to our average low of 6 degrees. So definitely a very warm winter day we had overnight and today. So that satellite radar showing all that rain has moved off to our east, leaving behind mostly cloudy skies. A few isolated showers can be expected throughout the night. So if we zoom out, just see how big this storm is, spanning all the way from Maine all the way down into the Gulf of Mexico. And that's due to that's why we got all that rain, is because of all this warm temperatures that came up from the Gulf. So let's time out this rain for you overnight. Should be clearing out by 9 o'clock, and then a few isolated showers throughout the evening. But by 4 a.m., most of the rain and the clouds have moved out, so we can expect to wake up at 8 o'clock tomorrow with some beautiful sunny skies. So you can definitely put away those rain boots and rain jacket, because tomorrow is going to be a beautiful sunny day. We have a few clouds in there throughout our afternoon as they build in towards the afternoon. And then overnight, Thursday into Friday, still mostly cloudy, mostly clear for Friday as well. And then clearing out for your Friday afternoon. So your forecast for tonight, temperature's going to remain above freezing, so 37 degrees here in the Lyndonville area with mostly cloudy skies and a few isolated rain showers throughout the evening. For tomorrow, expect temperatures to be relatively warm as well, 44 degrees with some mostly cloudy skies. So, talked about rain, and now I'm going to give you a ski report, and it's not looking too good out there. Every ski resort is definitely feeling affected by this here in the Vermont area, but next week is starting to look like winter makes a comeback and it starts to get cooler, so those temperatures are going to drop below freezing to help these ski resorts at least make some blowing snow out there with their guns. It might not be naturally snow, but at least they'll get something. So let's take a look at that extended forecast. Like I said, those temperatures are going to start to drop. We see lows back in the teens, and then even a potential for some snow on Monday. So we just got to get through the next couple of days as temperatures are kind of warm, but we'll be cooling down for next week.
All right. Thank you, Tara. And Lyndon State has brought another basketball team to the college. The athletic department opens its doors to the Special Olympics. News 7 Haley Lyons has more.
After 10 years of coaching special needs basketball,
come on, concentrate, fellas, concentrate.
Coach Cochia is ready to start his new season.
I came to first practice and loved it. I haven't stopped doing it since.
And with 10 practices and 3 tournaments, this basketball program does not receive any special treatment.
We look forward to winning championships. That's what we do.
And while the coach focuses on winning championships,
that's what I'm saying. Whoa! That's what I'm saying. All right.
Others find success in the little things.
I mean, every time it's a success story, right? Every time somebody does something they've never done before, or, breaks a personal record, or, scores their first basket, or whatever it is, it's amazing to be a part of.
Roy was able to bring the basketball program to Lyndon State through teaming up with Special Olympics Vermont, an organization helping those with intellectual disabilities.
This is important to me because I like to have fun and meet other people, and just gives me something to do, during my spare time. So,
along with developing physical fitness, the organization helps friendships
have a good time. That was my friend Aaron Sandville. Just went by me, by the way. I knew he was going to do that to me. So,
with teammates. Community members also develop relationships with the players, such as LSC student Shane LaCroix.
I'd like to be here as much as I can. I've already formed instant connections with some of these kids in the first 10 minutes. Smiles that you see on their face makes me light up inside for them. It's just giving them an opportunity they might not have had before.
And that opportunity is not only to perform athletically, but to exercise their character. Reporting for the Vermont Center for Community Journalism, I'm Haley Lyons in Lyndon.
Lyndon Institute requires a January term for students aiming at sparking and rekindling the curiosity of their minds.
This term goes for 3 weeks and runs between the semesters, and students who wanted to get the chance to go to China did. Students that went on the trip were impressed by how education is valued in China, along with the cultural differences that they observed over their stay. During their time, they got the chance to travel, along with the learning the history about the country, and got the opportunity to spend a day at a school.
I just hope that students are able to For me, I studied Chinese in college is when I first started learning Chinese, and when I first traveled there, it really sort of opened my whole world. I never knew that people ate so many different kinds of foods and could, so everything is very, very different, so, but it in a good way, and it really, piqued my interest, so I hope that the same thing happens for the students.
Mole says that he hopes that his trip opened the students' horizons to traveling in the future.
And after the break, the Lady Hilltoppers hit the court last night for a big matchup. The results on News 7 Sports next.
And it was a battle of some of the state's best at Linden Institute. We'll bring you highlights from girls' hoops.
Oh, look, a redhead. Staring contest. You still got it. I know.
Come alive with the forest.
The dad is cute.
You were looking right at us.
Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
And we're out. You got plans?
You bet.
$50 million Americans struggle with hunger, but we can do something about it.
Excuse me.
What's going on?
Dinner.
Please join me in helping put food on their tables. Together, we can feed America.
You guys keep going. I'm gonna get the plate.
Wait!
Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
It started out like a totally normal day.
I love you.
I mean, I guess I was a little sweaty and I was definitely sore. I thought I had gas. Turns out I was having a heart attack. Heart disease is the #1 killer of American women. So now I take care of my heart and I tell the women in my life to do the same.
Sounds great, by the way.
That's nice, sweetie, but that's not my heart. That is. Find out more from the American Heart Association at goredforwomen.org.
It was a battle for 4th place Tuesday night in St. Johnsbury for girls basketball.
The Essex Hornets in St. Johnsbury Hilltoppers started the night 10-4 and were battling for the coveted 4th seed and at least 2 home playoff games. The Hilltoppers started the game off turning the ball over and missing shots. They were able to bounce back from being down double digits in both the second and third quarter. It was a tight start to the 4th quarter, but by the end of it, the Hornets pulled away, beating the Hilltoppers 46-36.
Well, I think the girls, they'll bounce back tomorrow. They know we're into a strong part of our schedule right now, and I'm confident they'll be ready to get focused on our next game.
One town over, 2 of the top teams in the state for girls hoops hit the hardwood at Alumni Gymnasium in Linden. The Vikings of Linden Institute battled the Thetford Panthers. The Lady Vikings took a 6-2 lead after 1 quarter of play, but at the half, it was all knotted up at 14. Eventually, Linden outlasted the Panthers 39-33. Both teams returned to action on Thursday at U32, while the Panthers are on the road at Oxbow.
Big news for those with a dairy intolerance. Ben & Jerry's has announced that they are in the process of making dairy-free ice cream. They have created 4 flavors that are not only dairy-free, but also vegan. Keep an eye out for the new addition in your freezer aisle. You know, Tara, with all this spring-like weather, you would think it's kind of ice cream eating season, but you wouldn't expect that in February.
Yeah, I know. It's early February and we saw rain all day today. You definitely expect to see some snow, so it's very out of the normal. And we have another warm day on tap for tomorrow, but after that, winter moves on in as Friday will be in the 20s, and then some more seasonable temperatures will continue throughout the weekend and into next week as well. And on Tuesday, we can even see a chance for some snow. So we're finally getting back into that winter theme, and I think after this week of warm temperatures, we could definitely all agree that we kind of want to be back in winter.
You know, I was a little bummed because I just washed my car yesterday, filthy of dirt, and then it pours all day today and it's nothing but mud puddles everywhere.
Yeah.
Just dodging them all over.
I might have to disagree. Mine was really clean though.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
And that's all we have for this edition of News 7 at 5:30. I'm Jessie Slater.
And I'm Victor Mwangi. For more stories and all the latest news, breaking news, check us out at onlinenews7newslink.net.